Alright guys, tips for setting up your Emacs Tiny Hawk from the get-go when you open the box. So what you're going to have is the drone and some other miscellaneous stuff. So we're going to talk about that. Take your drone out, and I always throw that foam that's in here out. Just it doesn't mean anything. Let's take a look what we got. Now I'm going to install this little pigtail that comes with it to learn to fly FPV with a little less power. It'll be slower, of course, but it'll be a little less power. And maybe inside the house, if I'm going to fly it a little bit in here, you don't want so much power. So you can run it on 2 batteries, or you can run it on 1 battery, which is with the pigtail. So basically, you take this little pigtail out, put 2 batteries in, then you run it. What I absolutely find is necessary on these drones is to cut these little pieces right here off of the battery and the pigtail. Any of these drones have ever had like this, you have to cut that off, because otherwise you're going to pull the wires out trying to get that little connector out of this connecting piece. So you get your tool, something like this, and go ahead and scrape that off so that it can slide in. Look, the retention inside here of this of the pins going into these connectors is plenty friction to keep the battery. I mean, you know, unless you're going to have a huge accident, obviously it might come off, but it's not coming off in flight. And I do find that on these drones that you'll actually mess up the connector if you don't cut that off. Second, let's talk about props. So your props should turn so that it's cutting into the wind. This is front of the drone. Cutting into the wind this way and pushing the air down. So it's going to turn this way, and you can see how that's going to actually cut the wind. See the blade? And push the air down. Then on this side, it cuts into the wind the opposite. So it's going to be, this one is one way, this one is the other, and then back here, same thing. Towards the back of the drone, it goes in, and it goes in, like that. So that's how drones work, quads work. Then you're going to need to put them on. When you put them on, correct, that's right. Then you're going to want to try to get the screws in the holes. And this is kind of a pain in the butt. So what you do is you line it up with the edge piece. Let's see if I can show you that. On the motor, there's an edge piece. You're looking for 4. There's 4 holes, and you only need 2 of them. See, this isn't lined up. So you're going to line it up with the edge piece and then move it ever so slightly, until you can get it to thread up easily. Once you thread it up, then you can go ahead and thread on in, and then the other one will match for no problem. So that's how you do that. You're going to get a bunch of screws in this little bag here. Dump them out and organize them. Most of them are for emergencies if you break the frame or something. All of these small ones are for emergencies if you break the frame. You need the longer ones like this to go in the propellers, because the propeller takes up a certain amount of room, and then it's just threading into the housing of the motor. So the longer ones are the ones you want to separate. You're going to need those. All right, 16 of those. All right, so one other thing I very strongly suggest is to put these little foam pieces on your bottom side of the quad for landing. Something like that. Glue those on there. It's fine. When you land, it's going to keep you up off of surfaces. It's going to help you have a little bit of cushion. The weight is nothing at all. So these don't weigh anything. I mean, really. So that's foam that comes with packing is always great to use for that. You're going to need a tool that looks like this to thread the screws in. So, yeah. Hopefully you'll have one of those hex thread. So that's all I can tell you about this. Once you get it set up, oh, check your camera out. Power it up and check your camera out. So when you power it up and put your battery in there, your camera will then come on. And you can check out to see if you have a good picture from the drone. And of course at this time we do. It should actually be in color, so maybe give it a second, it'll come into color. Actually, yeah, it's just bare. Yeah, there you go. You got color feed now, and it's got pretty good telemetry in here. So